My name is Red Raptor Writes, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to a half-decent film? No, says the man at Sony. It needs to be an advertisement. No, says the man at Disney. It needs to be a soulless remake. No, says director John Chu. Has to bore you out of your freaking mind! What the heck did I just watch? Seriously, what was that? I haven't wanted to off myself in the theater as much since the Les Mis movie from 2012. Before I start though, I should point out that I'm here to condemn a bad movie. I haven't seen the musical, so my critiques aren't aimed there. Maybe the play was much better, maybe it wasn't. Doesn't matter. A good movie should be able to stand on its own merits, not just on appreciation for the source material. Alright, so 14-year-old girls in the comments, don't give me that, well actually in the show nonsense. I'm reviewing the movie, not the play. Now where do I begin with this mess? Maybe the best place to start is with the main conflict, as in, it's non-existent. Sorry if I butcher some names, but the protagonist here is Yusnavi, or Navi, the owner of a bodega in Upper Manhattan. His goal is to move back to the Dominican Republic to rebuild his late father's old bar. Okay, fair enough. In the Heights does a good job at getting the audience on board with this. It's a nice character want. So how does Navi struggle to reach this goal? He doesn't. To quote a better channel, it's barely an inconvenience. This is partially why the movie feels so boring, because there's no goal to look forward to, nothing to achieve for the main character, leaving nothing for us to latch onto. We've talked about wants and needs before on the channel. Usually a want is something that the main character wants, but isn't really good for them until they discover their need, which would be better for them, but they have to figure that out over the course of the movie. Navi's want is to go to the Dominican Republic, but his need apparently is to just stay in Washington Heights. This doesn't really work for me because his want was perfectly fine. It's a good dream. It's not like he wants anything that's bad for him. Washington Heights really isn't any better, and his choice to stay wasn't really thinking with his brain, it was thinking with his something else. Alrighty then, so he's given something else to win. A woman. Navi has a crush on this girl Vanessa, who's a usual at his corner store. Well, that's the way it's presented, but apparently they knew each other back in high school, which you would have never guessed. This is all told far into the movie and not shown. We don't feel this relationship naturally. Now, I'm not asking for a high school flashback, but some back and forth about the old days would have been nice. Just something to tell us they had a history. Instead, they seemed more like total strangers. Besides, when they do go on their first date, they both act super toxic towards each other. Yusnavi doesn't instantly dance with Vanessa at the club, so she gets frisky with a dozen other guys. And then he gets jealous and dances with another girl to show her up. It reminds me of that one scene in Bye Bye Birdie, except in that, the leads were feuding after their breakup. Here, we're watching a first date that we're supposed to be invested in. Navi and Vanessa suck as human beings, so why should I root for them as a couple? So because there's nothing for me to root for, I'm not invested. I'm just sitting in this chair, bored out of my mind. The movie tries to give the love interest more character by having her fail at applying for apartments and lamenting her job at a nail salon. But to everyone else, she's just a big pair of breasts.
It takes guests with breasts, and mine don't count.
Whoever the costume designer was definitely wanted to save on fabric or something, I don't know. Even when out of focus, you could tell which one she is based on whoever has the most cleavage sticking out. Again, we don't initially see any history or relationship between these leads, so you get the sense that Navi only likes her for superficial reasons. Now, I'm not trying to give the typical spiel from your mom about dressing properly, but when a part of her character is how she's more than a nice pair, and her defining feature is her nice pair, then you have a problem. Probably the only decent subplot is with Senator Organa, how his daughter Nina doesn't want them to go bankrupt over her college expenses, so she wants to drop out. Too bad they had to fight for screen time with all the boring stuff. The fact that there's no central conflict or struggle to get invested in also means that In the Heights doesn't even have a climax. All the scenes just kinda chug along one after another without any real goal in mind. Because there's no climax, there's no emotional high point, no moment where the built-up tension gets released. Maybe it's supposed to be the blackout, it's built up as some major event with timestamps shown throughout the runtime, but it serves as nothing more than a slight inconvenience. Yes, the abuela dies, but does the blackout hinder Navi from getting his bar? No. Does it impact his relationship with Vanessa? No, they were already being petty, and their relationship feels superficial and suckish anyway. Does it impact Nina's decision about college? No. Really, the only thing it accomplishes is bumping off the grandma, leading to Sunny getting her winning lotto ticket.
When grandma has died, you get really pissed cause she owe you money.
It feels like the blackout was supposed to be the big event, the climax, but because it isn't, you're left in a state of emotional emptiness. The film then goes on for what feels like another hour. Maybe not that long, but you feel every minute of it. Everything that comes after is one super long, dragged out resolution. Any film or screenwriting class will tell you that this should be one of the shortest parts of the story, simply concluding and wrapping up remaining plot threads. It shouldn't be another third of the screen time. At this point, I was actually dozing off. I never hit full unconsciousness in the theater, but
I would certainly like to.
Maybe you don't have to rigidly stick to the typical 3-act structure every time, but it's the norm for a reason, because it's an effective guide on how to build an engaging story. In the Heights deviated so far away from it and paid the price. Well, actually, I'm the one who paid in cash and in brain cells. Now, I'm sure there's someone out there thinking, but the songs were so good, which is pretty much the white flag that gets raised when they realize how stupid the story and characters are. Well, I'm here to tell you, not much. I'm not a music expert. I never liked studying music or instruments, so I won't pretend to be one. As a casual listener though, nothing I heard was even remotely as enjoyable as some others in the genre like Non-Stop, Sincerely Me, Another Day of Sun, and heck, even Into the Unknown was better than this. In the Heights finds itself outgunned, outmanned, outnumbered, and outplanned. And guys, have you ever seen The Land Before Time 7? Beyond the Mysterious Beyond is the greatest song ever written. Once you hear that, anything this musical tries to throw at you sounds just like trash. With all these problems, with all the times I had to slap myself awake in theaters, why then has this trash heap received so much praise? Same reason as Coco. Look, it's my culture. Ooh, we have diversity. Aren't we so woke and inclusive? We're teaching Hispanics to be proud of who they are. Yay! You may not know this, but I'm Puerto Rican, and I just really don't care. I paid the ticket to see a good movie, not get a Hispanic apology tour. It's unfortunate that a lot of the reviewers are more interested in the politics than the quality of the movie, but even the politics are questionable. I won't be touching a political aspect about it. I can agree or disagree with entertainment, as long as it's quality entertainment, which in the Heights is not. There can be a movie that I disagree with that's still good, or a movie that I agree with that is still trash. Man, the day I saw this mess was the day I truly came to appreciate structure, pacing, and the need for a central conflict. Without those things, you're left with this. Anyway, remember, if you enjoyed this video, to please leave a like, subscribe, and check out my social media. See you next time.